Could you tell us a little bit about DDMa?
So DDMa is like, she's like an Oprah. That's like the best way to describe her. She's just like, anytime she hugs you, you feel so warm and like loved and connected. So she's like 40 or 50, and so she's a spiritual leader. So she's a guru. So she just believes in like peace and love and like connections. And she came to Newtown like a couple years ago, and she also came to Newtown this summer after. And so she just has a connection with Newtown for like a multitude of reasons. And
so she started this community for women and orphans, right?
Yeah. So just like women who maybe like the moms maybe have been like neglected or been abused or been like cast off in their society, so they came to be moms for life because that's what they found to be important to them. And then the kids, obviously, are just, as in any country, there's going to be like kids that are being abandoned, or girls, because girls aren't viewed as like higher, like as equal as men in their society, more strongly than they are here. Does that make sense? Like there's more of a disparity. So it's just like a connection of people who might have not been accepted by their societies coming together for like love and acceptance. And
Do you have any ideas about how we in American culture could break down some of these boundaries that where it feels like the youth are not communicating with the older people, or where we could just become somehow a more loving society?
well, I feel like Newtown has experience with like what love is after Sandy Hook. Like we know what it feels like to come together and just be kind to each other and like experience love. But I just feel like it always should be like that. Like in India, that's the status quo of like it's always like that. And then there's just like levels of just everyone's your aunt, everyone's your like anyone you see. And I think in America especially, the generational difference is like technology, especially because technology to me is like second nature, honestly even first nature. Like it's so easy to me. But for some people it's like it's not. And I completely understand that because there's certain things that older people talk about that I don't understand at all, and I probably will never understand about like so many issues that I just don't understand. So like there's always, that's the beautiful thing about generations, is each generation has faults and has its strengths. So when we come together, we can learn from those. So I think that we just need to have more conversations without applying stereotypes and applying all these things in them that like in India I wasn't applying, like thinking of what defines India, I was just thinking of these people as people. So I just think we have to come together and like don't like, oh, it's a teen who's like wearing ripped jeans and oh my gosh, the music. Just be like, it's a person and like I can have a conversation with them. Or not being, it's an old person, I don't understand them. It's just another person you can talk to, you can have a conversation with. So I think if we all should just start to talk to each other, it'd just be easier. Yeah.
I really hope that you will continue becoming the kind of leader that we need, and I will vote for you.
Let me get Ron and then Tom.
My question really does have to do with this intergenerational thing. Generation Z is new to my ears. And I'm wondering if you could speak to that, and perhaps the other two ladies might speak to what you see as the differences between how you describe yourself as well as each other.
I am a millennial, and one of the, I think the biggest, my sister is 6 years younger than I am, so my sister is not a millennial, my sister is Gen Z, and one of the biggest things that I remember like early on noticing as a difference between the two of us was that I was in college, and I called her to ask about, or just to talk about some of the conversational expansion and shifts that were happening in conversations around sexual orientation, which had been conversations that my cohort of friends in high school and I had been having, but we didn't have all the language that I was hearing in college. And I called my sister, who at that point was in, a freshman in high school, and she knew all the language. Like it came from her cohort of people. Like they were having a conversation that I was trying to catch up with. And we're only 6 years apart. And I think that that's sort of the biggest difference that I noticed, that Danielle's generation is like very much where a lot of the cultural and social shifts that are happening are finding energy and coming from. And the rest of us, I think, are trying to catch up a little bit.
So in our conversation on Tuesday, Danielle says to me, "You're such a concept." So I looked to Cate, I said, "Is that a compliment? What is that?"
It is.
So that language kind of thing gets in the...
And I said, I know it's a compliment and I don't know what it means.
Lori.
Where are you going from here?
Like today?
I don't know, you have your act together. I think if you're a representative of Gen Z, we're going to be in very good hands. And I would just like to hear just something about you personally, what your thought is, even in what you want to do in the future.
Well, after India, I definitely realized I want to do something that helps people or just impacts the world, because I'm really into like activism and social empowerment and just helping everyone and improving the world we live in. So I definitely love traveling. I'm gonna travel in the future. Like, it's just something that's like of course. I don't really know what I want to do with my life. I kind of have to figure that out in the next like few months. So I definitely want to do maybe like public health and human geography and just like learning about the world and how I can help it. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, I want someone to tell me, but I definitely want
The priesthood.
The Holy Spirit will guide you.
It's really fun. Yeah.
just like, I don't know, keep helping people, keep making the world a better place to live in for everyone equally, and just impact my community and my environment like as much as I can.
Thank you.
Help.